He was a 21st century mechanized man. How he longed to grow his beard tough and stubbly to the touch. But that was some years off and he had to wait. I'll be back. Make my day. Reach for the skies. The Western hero had it right, to a point. Being a loner, that was key. Alone on the frontier with no one to depend on and none depending on him. A drifter. A shadow. His horse beneath him with nothing but sky in all directions. He had seen those skies. Montanesque on postcard racks as a boy. The revolving store rack his mother warned him not to touch. He had to reach high on his tippy toes to reach the really good cards. Like golden eggs in Stringbird Dream. And are not our dreams the stuff we're made of? One day, at the pharmacist, the card rack of dreams came crashing down on his head. No one noticed. Truth be told, no one noticed him come in the first place. He had a way of blending into his surroundings. The store was almost empty of customers, and his mother was busying herself in the beauty aisle far away. Fortunate for him, no employees anywhere to scold him. Today, he was a boy much older than the children he would make the acquaintance of. He could see in the back of his head revolving on the card rack, "Pick me! Oh no! No, pick me! Why am I always the last to be picked? Look at me! I'm over here! Over here!" His mind collapsing events, scents, and half memories as the wheels turned. One leg was earth, solid and sure. His right arm was fire, consuming with heat. The other leg was fox, clever, quick, and nimble. And his left arm held a bolt of lightning, which he would let loose when opposed. He had respect for the Judeo-Christian traditional story of Abraham and Jacob. Where others found incomprehension and darkness, he found light. That was true of so many things in his life. Things that made perfect sense to him didn't make any sense whatsoever to other people. That's okay. He was gifted. The understanding between his experience and that of others was a chasm of as wide and deep as the Grand Canyon, magnificent in its isolation. He understood that death could be a sacrifice and an atonement. He met a girl once. He liked her and she liked him. She even let him carry her heavy backpack home for her one day. I know that sounds crazy, but she did. Really. And his heart leapt into his throat. He thought, golly, so this is how it happens. This is how a guy meets a girl. I didn't even have to try. She asked me. She asked me. But on the playground the next day, the guys teased him about the girl. And then the next day, they teased him again. And again. And again. So he gave up the idea of that girl. Her price was too high. She probably didn't really like him in the first place. She just pretended she did, so she could laugh at him with her girlfriends. His mother was first. Well, it made sense to kill her first because she was ultimately the one responsible for bringing him weeping and wailing into this vale. If not for her, he never would have been in such a predicament in the first place. It was her fault. And that's why he shot her in the head. Not once, but 4 times. One for every element he held sacred. 1 bullet for being different. 1 bullet for loneliness. 1 bullet for misunderstood. And 1 bullet for purposelessness. Why hadn't his mother loved him as he needed to be loved? Why hadn't she held him in the way that he needed to be held? Why did she always smell of disinterest when he was in her presence? He was a sleepwalker killer. His dream subconscious rising to the surface as unrecognisable as his childhood self, long ago misplaced and forgotten. The boy reaching for postcards, liking that girl, teased by playground boys. He liked his mother's gun. A rifle. Her rifle first for her and then for them. A talisman for good luck and protection from evil. Where his mother fell short, her rifle would amend. The boy broke through a glass barrier, opened the front door, and then strolled through the hallways and classrooms. He had an appointment to keep. He shot the principal and 4 other staff members. Then he shot the children's substitute teacher. She was in the wrong place, wasn't she? Or the right place? She protected her babies. She paid with her life. Teacher turned protectress. A lioness guarding her young. As he walked the hallways, there was a narrow opening in his field of vision. He walked down darkened hallways, sensed at a peak, ready to protect himself and his own. For these children were his own to protect from the disappointments sure to come their way. Disappointments had come his way. Disappointments as constant as the sun rising and setting. Disappointments were sure to come their way as well. He was actually doing them a favour. Here was the place, the ground on which he had suffered, and here these children would have their suffering ended. A testament of blood to suffering children. To him, it was more like a video game of hide and seek. You hide and I'll try and find you. If I find you and kill you, I earn points. The object being how many points can be earned in the shortest amount of time. The winner is the one with the most kills, hence the greatest number of points, and receives his award in virtual reality. And after all, isn't that the most valuable kind? For virtual reality is eternal, never erased, playing on an eternal loop, over and over again.